is up? What is happening, everybody? I hope you guys are doing okay. I technically just spoke to you 2 minutes ago in another video, but you're getting this several days later. This video is based on a video by a YouTuber by the name of Shameless Maya. If you guys don't know who Shameless Maya is, where have you been? Where have you been? But this video that Shameless Maya made a couple of weeks ago on sacrifice, saying that she had not meant for it to be as popular as it is, but saying that her choice to remain celibate or to refrain from sex is a sacrifice that she made, and because of that, or just because of her will to focus on her work and not let certain things such as that distract her, she has become as successful as she is, where before she hadn't seen the fruits of her labor, and now with that sacrifice made and obviously working hard and believing in God, she has become the person that she is today, or has created all that she has today. And so her question was, what are you doing that is distracting you from what you want to do? What is it that you need to sacrifice? What is your vice, essentially? And I had a decent amount of trouble figuring what my distraction is, what that vice is for me. Because a couple years ago, I easily could have said, oh my gosh, I watch too many YouTube videos. I watch too many YouTubers. I spend too much time doing that. And I saw how it affected my schoolwork, and so I refrained from it. And I didn't do it as much. Instead, I decided to become a YouTuber myself, so I don't know how well that worked, but it was something that I didn't do as much of. I really started thinking, and I was saying, there isn't anything that I am physically doing that is distracting me to the extent where I can't get my work done. Instead, it's that thing that we all suffer from, the thing that we all do, that we hate, that we can't stand, but we continue to do it, and that thing is listening to our thoughts. Listening to those negative, good-for-nothing thoughts that just continue to lie to us day in and day out. So you're either spending a bulk of your time listening to those voices and not accomplishing what you need to do, or spending so much time counteracting or attempting to counteract those thoughts so that they don't bother you in your daily life. And for me, I'm spending a lot of that time trying to quiet them. It'll take the shame of saying, oh, Janelle, you said that you really wanted to do this thing and you didn't do it. And I'll let the failure of not completing something affect my entire day, or affect my week, or just let it just fester in the back of my mind where I can't move forward. And of course, it's just this domino effect of, you didn't do this. Look, you didn't do that. Look, you didn't cross the street when you had 5 seconds you fully could have gone. Just the little thing, just keep adding, like a game of Jenga, just keep adding on to the top. And so when she asked that question in her video of, just kind of talking to us and saying, so what is it that you need to sacrifice? I was thinking, shoot, I need to sacrifice like how much time I give into those negative thoughts. Half the time, they're not even my thoughts per se. They're just, honestly, it's just like the negativity, like negative spirits just coming into your mind, like the devil kind of just like shutting you down, putting this barrier between myself and God, where I find it so hard to listen to what God is trying to say to me because I have all this negativity coming from like the other side. And so with that being said, I think that like sometimes it's not necessarily that you are distracted by something by like a physical thing that you do, but sometimes it's mentally. Sometimes that distraction is mentally focused, is mentally driven, and it's the question of how do you counteract that? How do you counteract those thoughts that always seem to be with you, that always seem to be dragging you down? Like, it's one thing to be distracted by something that you can physically get out of your sight and not think about. Like phones are such a huge distraction. I'm sure many people would say, "Oh yeah, it's social media. It's my phone." Like every time I hear some sort of notification pop up on my phone, I'm reaching for it. Well, if you put your phone in a different room while you're getting your work done, then that's no longer the distraction. But what happens when it's your mind, which you can't remove and put in a different room? What do you do then? Because anyone can say, "Oh, just start your day off right. Just be more positive. Talk to yourself. Just continue to counteract those thoughts." Then, like, that's what's taking up all that time. That's what's eating up all that time. So, I guess I would say, like, I feel like if you believe in, like, if you are a religious person or a spiritual person, I think it's important to stay tightly tethered to that source, because that is usually what is bringing you that positivity, and which is able to kind of like refill like that reservoir that I'm always mentioning of positivity. And I think just constantly doing that and pushing yourself to work to fight off those thoughts. And maybe it's the kind of thing where in order to see change, you kind of have to fight those mental thoughts off physically, or in in like a different like in a different spectrum then. So if you're physically getting the work done, that will kind of motivate you mentally to continue to get it done, if that makes sense at all. Because sometimes you can't fight off that negativity. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Sometimes you'll have that mental thought of like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to jump into the pool, it's too cold." But you do it anyways. You do it anyways, and then your mind gets used to it, and you're like, "Oh, it wasn't so bad." So maybe it has to be that sort of thing. But it's still the case of there are times where you don't have that distraction. And so like the point is like, what do you sacrifice in that sense? And I don't know that there's a clear answer to that. I don't know that there's a right way of answering it, just because of what you're dealing with. Like I said, you can't just sacrifice not talking to your mind, or not, like we all struggle from it. We all deal with it. Even the most successful YouTubers that you watch all struggle with it. It's a thing. It's not new. And you shouldn't think that just because someone is really successful, that means that they have their life all figured out, because they don't. And when it comes to what you sacrifice, well, when it's a mental thing, it takes time. I think time is the main remedy there. Maybe even like writing down in a notebook. I'm trying to get into this habit of like every night just writing, just having that gratitude list. I've always heard about doing it, always said I wanted to do it. Of course, never got around to it, because that's what happens. It really opens up your mind in terms of how you think about things, and where you value things, how you value things. And kind of saying like, I have a whole new appreciation for this person because of the simple thing that they did, or this act of writing out what I'm grateful for is opening up my eyes to, like all the different things that I've taken for granted, that I've neglected, that I'm now seeing are really important in my life. And I think from there, sacrificing the time, it's interesting, the same way that time can be the healer is the same way that you have to also sacrifice the time that you spend just in your head. You have to take time to so you take time, no, you sacrifice the time that you take listening to those mental distractions by taking the time to fill those mental distractions with positive ones. Woo! I'm not even sure I fully know what I just said, but I think it makes sense. I think it makes pretty good sense. So, yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys understand kind of like what I was saying, where I was going with it. So, good morning, noon, and night, wherever you are in the world. And I shall talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. We're walking, and then she says,